Hello again and welcome to another episode of the Franchise Everything podcast, where we talk about everything and anything franchising. You can hear by the background noise, we're actually doing a live audience live stream podcast today again at the Melbourne Franchising and Business Opportunities Expo, and we are joined by Doug Downer, who's the CEO of Franchise Ready. G'day, Doug.
Hey Glenn, how are you?
Very good, thanks. Very good. And we're going to be talking today about your book. Now, you've authored two books?
Two books, yep.
Two books.
Yep.
They are Invested.
Yep. So the first book we wrote was Flipping Out.
Yep.
Our second book was Invested.
And this that's both of them. You see Flipping Out. See, we would have had an impressive book to display. We had a nice little stand for the book to be sitting behind you and everything. But as you said, you've been swamped and all of your books have been sold this weekend.
Yeah. It's been a really good response.
Couldn't even find one for a podcast. That's all right, mate. So we're going to talk about the Flipping Out book in particular.
Yep.
All right. So that was the first one you wrote.
Yep.
So what was the inspiration behind Flipping? Oh, actually, for those who don't know first, Franchise Ready. What's Franchise Ready?
So Franchise Ready is a franchise consulting service. We do end-to-end. So we do everything that someone needs if they're thinking about franchising. So if someone's got a proven concept or business that they want to scale and grow through franchising, we would work with them and do all their documentation, their strategy, financial modeling, literally everything they need. And then we coach and mentor them for a period of time and help them on their franchise journey.
Excellent. So now, as part of all that, your books, so Flipping Out, what was the inspiration behind Flipping Out? Where did that come from? Where was the germination of that?
Yeah, so look, I spent 14 years at McDonald's, and I started as a 15-year-old kid flipping hamburgers. So that book has got a lot of anecdotes and stories about McDonald's. So say what you will about their burgers. In terms of systems, there isn't a better business in the world for creating systems. Mm-hmm. You've got 15-year-old kids running multi-million-dollar restaurants.
Amazing, isn't it, when you think
so
about
the
it?
systems work. So that's the inspiration. I spent 14 years with them and learn a lot about what you could overlay in other businesses. So that's the first part of Flipping Out, is the motivation of my learnings from McDonald's. Mm-hmm. The second part of it is too often I see business owners flipping out, that term where they're just not in control of the business. So the book was really written from the perspective of how do we give business owners greater control over their business, and what can they learn from franchising that would help them in their own business.
So you don't have to be a franchisee to get benefit out of this. And I think I missed the start. The actual full title of the book is Flipping Out: Why Every Business Should Be Franchise Ready, isn't it? Regardless of whether you are or not.
Yeah. So we have a fundamental belief that even if you don't franchise, you need to think and act like a franchise would. So develop the systems and processes that enables the business owner to be able to step back from the business. Because too often, some businesses are successful because the business owner is in there every day, and that's not a life. So what we wanted to do is show business owners how they can build systems and processes that enable them to wrestle their life back, take control, but still have a better business.
So how did you do that? So every book has got a structure to it and a vision, the way that you're going to do this sort of stuff, and it probably reflects how you operate your business now and your consultancy. So how is it structured?
It really starts from the beginning. The first chapter I talk about my first experience in franchising, which at the time I didn't know it was franchising. I was 10 years old and I rallied the local kids. We used to collect money bottles and take them to the shop. And I had competitors that came into my market. So I actually rallied some of my friends and created, at the time I didn't know it was a franchise, but I would pay them part of what I would receive for depositing the bottles. And
for you cornering the whole market.
Yeah, exactly. And then I went on and did the same thing.
That sounds like anti-competitive behaviour, doesn't it?
Well, lucky the ACCC wasn't around back then.
True.
So it started there in terms of my journey and my experience. And it wasn't until I started writing the book and thinking about where did my business experience came from. It came from a very young age. And then everything that I learned in McDonald's. And it's interesting, when I came out of McDonald's, the first job I had, the owner of that business, very successful franchisor in Australia, they have 500 franchise units, said to me, I'm not sure that I want to hire you because most people that come out of McDonald's struggle because they're so systemised and we're not. And so what I was able to learn from that is that if we could apply the principles from McDonald's across any business, we could help any business be successful. So, the book has 13 chapters, and each chapter is a building block on what are the things that McDonald's do so well that enables them to scale and grow and be the global dominant player that they are.
So it's interesting to say that, because everyone does talk about McDonald's, but you were in it for many, many years. So what are the things they do so well? What do you cover in there that makes them different? Now, whether you think they are now or not is another thing.
Yep.
Every time I go for my burger now it's wrong, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah,
what is it, the things that makes them different and the ability to scale?
Yeah. Look, I think at the core, it's about, they don't see themselves being in the hamburger business. They see themselves being in the people business. So they really invest heavily in their people. So recruiting the right people, training them, and then their performance and recognition programs. They understand that in order to get a 15-year-old to help you run a multi-million-dollar business, you've got to have really good systems, and you've got to make people want to do what they want to do. I can remember when I first started, or before I started working at McDonald's, I used to laugh at my friends and think, there's no way I'm ever going to work at McDonald's. What a dead-end job. And then I spent 14 years there and I loved it, and it really laid a solid foundation for me. So it starts by focusing on people. Obviously, product's important. So the way McDonald's does it is there's a system and a process to the way you do it so that you can replicate and get the same product, whether it's good or bad. We all have different views on their product, but it's consistent. You can go anywhere in the world and you know that a Big Mac's going to taste like a Big Mac and the French fries are going to taste the same. So the book really follows what are the platform that McDonald's sets, hiring people and then putting processes in place. So I'm a really firm believer that you build a business based on systems and you hire the right people to run those systems so that the owner doesn't have to be a slave to the business and be in it. And that's really what the book talks about. What are those 11 elements that help McDonald's be successful? But it starts with people.
And how do you work this into the way you help franchise brands now, for example, in developing their systems? Because you do a little differently to a few of the other consultants around here. You're also very open to it. There's a lot of people that are trying to take people from nothing right now or to an idea to a franchise.
Yep.
But there's not as many people who are doing that and then wanting to work with existing franchise businesses to help them be better in their system. So what do you take from that Flipping Out book to your business now?
It's interesting. We've had a number of established franchisors and some of them quite big. Like I can remember that brand that I referred to that's, a very big Australian franchise. When I first joined them, their operations manual was a lever arch folder with memos in it. And that was
awesome.
And they used to give franchisees...
How many locations they have?
They have 450 locations now.
Terrifying.
They had 100 when I joined them and no operations manual, no processes.
Wow.
So every business that we work in, we think, well, let's make them the McDonald's of their category. Let's build systems and processes that help them scale and grow without the reliance on the key leaders or founders within that business. And that's the starting point. But then it's like the existing franchisors, we do a lot of work with them because for a lot of them, they don't evolve their operating manuals and systems.
From when they first make them, I can imagine.
So we've been able to go into really established businesses and take a fresh look at their current business and make recommendations to them because often franchisors are quite insular. The fact that we work with so many brands, like we've launched 200 brands into franchising, we get to see what's good and what's not. And we're able to help franchisors make their businesses better.
So how are you using, I know there's a lot of technology platforms that are helping people bring together knowledge base and all that sort of stuff. So are you creating proprietary stuff for that, or are you getting off the shelf type of things to help brands sort of capture all this knowledge that no doubt then systems that are there?
Yeah, it's a combination, Glenn. So we custom built our own CRM for our own business.
That must have been enjoyable.
Yeah, well, I didn't have to do the hard work. I just had to tell them what I wanted
This is
and they
what
built
I want.
it.
Yeah. You just paid the bills.
Exactly. One of the things that we do that's different from most of our competitors is we actually go on the journey with our clients. So we coach and mentor them. So we build a coaching platform that formalizes the feedback that we give them, but they can also use that platform in coaching and mentoring their franchisees so their field staff can use it. So we have built a proprietary system for coaching and mentoring, but we've just changed CRMs from the one that we originally went with because it was a little bit clunky.
Is that the one you built?
Well, we had someone build it for us.
Okay, yeah.
So sometimes going off shelf, taking an off the shelf product is a way better option because they've got more money to invest in developing it. But then from a franchise management system perspective, there's probably 3 or 4 good platforms here in Australia, but they're starting to get really expensive. And because we work with a lot of emerging brands, we wanted to find a cost-effective way to be able to give them all of the benefits of the bigger guys, but the smaller guys could have it. So we actually worked with a company outside of Australia, based in Singapore, to develop a franchise management platform that is about 1/5 to 1/8 of the cost of some of the competitors that does everything that they do, so that the small guys can have everything that the big guys have got.
I think you hit on something there. It is interesting in the space right now that because people do see franchisors as a real cash cow, and they think if they can have this enterprise-sized product for them, then and they get this into 100 franchises and they're set.
Yep.
I think there's a real gap in the market there for that, without a doubt, because there's a lot of money flowing out to tech.
Yeah, definitely.
And a lot of confusion, and you don't know who to trust.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we try to do is come up with the most cost-effective solution so that the franchisor and the franchisee can get the optimum return on their capital. So we're always looking for better ways of doing it. And look, as much as you love to support Australian businesses, the one way to support Australian businesses is to find the best option for them, and it may not necessarily be here.
Yeah, similar conversation with Tiffany English from Access Offshoring yesterday, that if you can make a business more profitable here using offshoring, then you can create more jobs and more income here for sure.
Yeah.
So what's the impact of the book been like? So how do you use it? How do you use Flipping Out in your stuff there? I know it's always a business card and a calling card.
Absolutely.
But how do you use it there, and how do you put it to other people that they should use it and read it and the path through it?
I think I owned a coaching practice for a number of years, and so some of the elements that I learned in that I applied into the book. I'm a really big believer. I'm a champion of franchising and really want to see people that go into franchising do well. So the book it's almost the roadmap around how to be successful in business, whether you franchise or not.
Yeah.
I give away copies. We've maybe sold 1,000 copies.
I'm always seeing you giving it away.
But when I sell it, I usually sell it to support a charity that I do a charity bike ride every year, and I have to raise.
Yeah, I've seen you on LinkedIn doing that stuff. Around Thailand or something.
So 800 kilometers in 8 days, and so I sell the books, and 100% of the proceeds goes to that charity. But often I'm giving the books away if I think people can benefit from that book, whether they've got an idea of franchising their business or not. The way I've written the book is it's about the key lessons from franchising that you could apply to any business.
Excellent.
Yeah, so giving it away, and it's a calling card. It gives me credibility.
Of course it does,
and it positions me as a thought leader in the franchising space.
And you absolutely are, and that's a great way to finish, Doug.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thanks so much for joining us, mate. Appreciate
Pleasure.
it. Thank you. And that's it for another fantastic episode of the Franchise Everything podcast. I hope you enjoyed that and got a lot out of it. If you love this sort of content, please like, share, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff, and let's get more information out there to help people to be more successful in their business. We'll catch you in the next one soon.